What's good, Doug? It's your boy K Dub, and I'm back with another banger reaction, man. As you can see, we got another out of the ordinary reaction today, bro. This video is titled "Are Horns OP?" So this got something to do with animals. You feel me? I'm all in for these reactions, bro. I love learning about stuff. You feel me? But look, before we get into this, man, if y'all new to the channel, make sure y'all subscribe, turn on the post notice, like up this video, comment down below more videos y'all want me to react to. Without further ado, let's get into it, bro.
Players have a wide selection of equipment to choose from when speccing their character. Teeth, claws, stingers, spikes, each weapon has distinct advantages and disadvantages in combat. Some, like teeth, are better at dealing damage but offer less range and require the user take a significant risk committing to an attack attempt. Claws are a good middle ground, offering solid damage but allowing the user to keep their vitals at least a little bit further away from counterattack range. On the other end of the spectrum is what I'd like to discuss in today's video: horns and antlers. This video was sponsored by Audible. Excluding things like projectiles.
First time watching one of his videos, and you put that. Oh my goodness, bro! I gotta hear it one more time.
This video was sponsored by Audible. Excluding things like projectiles.
You a goat, bro. You a goat, man. Dang, bro. That's tough.
Skull-based weapons have by far the furthest reach in the game. This makes them excellent defensive weapons, as it gives players a large threat range that an approaching player needs to find a way to get through in order to connect with their own attack. Against a player with powerful horns or large antlers, messing up your approach and getting counterattacked can spell disaster, since these attacks can deal devastating damage.
Bro, he driving him into the ground, bro.
Antlers, messing up your approach and getting counterattacked can spell disaster, since these attacks can deal devastating damage when they connect. However, actually connecting with a strike isn't always easy for players who spec into this trait.
Ooh.
Since skull projections can be quite heavy and cumbersome, swinging them can be quite slow and risky in and of itself, because if the attack is dodged by an aggressive opponent, you might be left wide open to getting rushed down and taking a ton of damage. So today I'd like to delve deeper into the advantages and disadvantages that come with equipping skull weapons to your character, and discuss some examples of good and bad usage of this perk. The two main types of skull weapons are horns and antlers. Horns are permanent and usually equipable to both sexes, whereas antlers are grown and shed each year, and usually a perk exclusive to male characters. Players in the Servant faction have exclusive access to—
I didn't know antlers are grown, like they shed, bro.
As antlers are grown and shed each
year. I thought that was,
and usually
once
a perk
they break
exclusive
is
to
done.
male characters. Players in the Servant faction have exclusive access to antlers, while horns can be equipped to a wide variety of character types and have the major advantage of being permanent. Large antlers are useful for resource competition against other players, and occasionally to deter predators, but really their primary function is tied to the reproduction questline. Part of the Servant questline is that in order to complete the mating quest, male characters need to become party leader, and in order to achieve the rank of party leader, a servant must duel against other male servant characters and defeat them. Antlers allow these players to duel in a way that tests their strength while still remaining mostly non-lethal, as these players don't actually want to team kill their own party members. As far as combat abilities go, antlers probably aren't the most optimal choice. They weigh the user down quite a bit, make it more difficult to move through dense forest, and the enormous amount of energy it takes to shed and regrow them on a regular basis makes them a handicap rather than a perk. They don't have many secondary uses either. They can be used to dig with, but there's no upside to using antlers to dig rather than your feet. In short, antlers are a flex, the kind players can really only get away with when they're already doing quite well and—
Bro, this man antler just fell off the top of his head.
In short, antlers are a flex, the kind players can really only—
What's the name of the movie, bro? Open Season. My boy Elliot, man. Check out my boy Elliot, bro.
Get away with when they're already doing quite well and have resources to spare. And even then, antler users tend to ditch the trait as soon as the window to complete the mating questline closes for the year. Horns, on the other hand, can be used to great effect against a wider variety of opponents. Large horns can deal devastating piercing damage and can also be used to inflict knockback, destabilizing even the most aggressive players and creating an opening for a deadly strike to connect. However, they're really only useful in 1v1 combat, since a group of attackers can easily overwhelm a horn user from multiple directions at once and prevent them from connecting a strike.
Bro, the claws on them things, bro. You make one wrong move, like he said, you're done. He not making out of this. He not making it out, bro. Like, he is done. This nigga is eaten alive.
So it's important to balance your character with other traits like bulk or speed to help compensate for this weakness. Skull weapons were added to the game's equipment roster during the late Tetrapod expansion, possibly serving to facilitate party member recognition and later being co-opted for defensive purposes. While data miners are unsure whether early horn users like the Triceratops build had horn attacks as an integral part of their combat movesets, players in the current meta employ a wide variety of strategies to get the most out of their equipment. Tank builds like the Rhinoceros tend to use horns primarily for the knockback effect in 1v1 matchups, though they're capable of inflicting lethal piercing damage as well. More agile builds like the Wildebeest and...
Bro, you didn't have to do that man like that, bro. That's your own people. That's your people, bro.
Effect in 1v1 matchups, though they're capable of inflicting lethal piercing damage as well.
Bro, that stabbed him dead
More
in the
agile
stomach,
builds like
bro.
the Wildebeest and Cape Buffalo coordinate team defenses against predators that employ both horn and kick attacks, and have a high critical hit ratio due to the sharpness of their horns. Some animals with skull weapons favor other types of attacks, using their long legs as the primary line of defense against predators,
Stepping all
and
alone.
mostly use their skull mods to fight against others of the same build type. As powerful and impressive as horns are, their overall contribution to the viability of a character is less than you might expect, especially in terms of how vital they are to a player's game plan for dealing with predator attacks. Most horn users spend a ton of evolution points on their base speed stat to avoid confrontation with more powerful players in the first place, meaning that heavy skull equipment actually impedes this strategy rather than synergizing with it. Horn attacks tend to be employed as a last resort with varying degrees of success, since their base accuracy
he is shoving him into the
horns
pavement,
lose their value,
bro. And they just make it seem like all these lions and all these little cats just be running through these animals, bro. Nah, this nigga ain't going out. He the one. He woke up with it on his mind, bro.
Attacks tend to be employed as a last resort with varying degrees of success, since their base accuracy is so low. Horns lose their value in combat if the player's head is immobilized. So to use this perk effectively, the build should have a high base stamina and access to a variety of other attacks that can counter a grappling opponent.
They going
Since most animals with horns and antlers defend themselves more effectively with their feet, there are plenty of examples of similar builds like zebras and camels that are equally viable without horns equipped at all. However, in builds like rhinos that spec into bulk instead of speed, horns are fundamental to their combat strategy, and viability suffers significantly if their horns are damaged. When equipping your character, it's important to consider both your own character's stats and the types of attackers you're likely to encounter before you decide to spec into an expensive skull weapon. For example, if the primary threat in your server is a build from the Panthera faction, horns might not be the most optimal choice, since a big cat's primary objective is to land a critical strike on the opponent's neck. So you may be better off investing in more forceful kicks that can be used while keeping your head out of reach. But if the meta is more centralized around canine builds, front-facing weaponry may be the better option, since canines tend to target their prey's rear and get kills via bleed damage. The most viable horn users are well-rounded with respect to speed, bulk, and overall combat movesets. But most importantly, they spec their characters to be best equipped to counter the most dangerous threats in the current meta.
Bro, what is that animal?
Their characters to be best equipped to counter the most dangerous threats in the current
meta.
Now, since the best insight into the metagame can be found in books, gaining the knowledge necessary to be properly equipped can be tough, especially if your character's eyesight or concentration stats aren't the best. But the good news is, in an effort to make eyesight a less overpowered ability, the devs have started introducing more benefits to players that spec into auditory abilities, one of which is the advent of the audiobook. Audiobooks are an amazing way to optimize your efficiency, allowing you to gain XP in another
Bro, you had me sitting through that like that was part of the video, bro. I mean, it's part of the video, but I don't want to learn about no books, baby. Look, nice little video, man. We're going to keep them coming in. We're going to keep these reactions because I like learning about animals and stuff. I like all this type of stuff. So y'all let me know down in the comment section if y'all rock with these videos. Keep showing love and support and I'm returning the favor, man. Without further ado, we out.